All right. Thank you guys so much for hopping on the call tonight. Ashley is finishing up at a seminar where she got to see, oh man, who did she get to see? Les Brown. So if you guys watch any of those like amazing motivational videos, she got to watch him today and a couple other speakers. But I am so excited for tonight's call because we're going to hear from Brandy Schwab. Brandy is one of my coaches. Oh gosh, child, you do not need to be reaching for the melatonin. Brandy has been one of my coaches since last spring. She started out in one of my challenge groups last fall, not this fall, but the year before, in 2014. And signed up to be a coach last spring, and she's just been killing it. She just hit diamonds in December, and this month she is sitting at Success Club 29, I believe.
It just started.
So I will, without further ado, I will hand it over to Brandy. And also, if you guys haven't already, go ahead and push mute on your guys' side so that we can make sure that we don't get any feedback. You good to go, Brandy?
Yes, I'm good to go. Thank you.
Awesome.
Sam, would you mind record? Because I have some coaches that want this recorded. Would you mind pushing that on? Or
it's recording. You're good.
Oh, okay, maybe it is. I don't know. It didn't say it on my part. Okay, let me screen share. Okay, can you guys see that okay? Okay, sounds good. Okay, so tonight I just want to talk to you guys about how to get in the zone and how to face your fears with this business. So honestly, I don't mean to burst your bubble, but I really don't have anything more to say than what you have probably heard. I'm just going to say it again because this is where I started. When I started doing these things, I was like, it was just a game changer. It just changed my game. And like Sam said, I had started in March and I was an emerald from March until, I was a coach. And then in April, I guess I turned emerald. And that was only because I had my husband on and my mom on. And I was supporting all three of our businesses. And so, I was barely hanging on. I did not get another coach until October. So I have added quite a few coaches in this amount of time. And this is why I just feel like I can explain some of the things to you that have worked for me. So consistency is everything. And I feel like it's such a broken record, right? Like how many times do we listen to this? And I think I say it in every call I do. But consistency is really everything. Show up every single day, okay? There's so many excuses, and I know we can all just list off hundreds of excuses, right? Every day, whether you feel like it or not, you need to show up, and you just need to do your power of three. So don't feel like it's this super overwhelming, like I have to do this and this and this and this and this and this. And that's where I was kind of getting caught up in the beginning because it was, I couldn't keep up with everything in Team Fearless. I couldn't keep up with everything in Met Your Light Tribe. And we have terrible, terrible internet, okay? And that was really holding me back. And I just thought, you know what? I can just do what I have to do. And what I'm going to do right now is my power of threes or my power hour. And that's really, sometimes you just gotta key in on what's going to work. What is the one thing that you need to do? And it'll be your power hour, is my opinion. And then, let the other things kind of come together. And I want to say that for this month of hitting Success Club 29, like to me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Because honestly, I knew it, like I knew it was getting up there, but when Sam posted it, I was like, oh, I guess it is getting, it is a lot, it is up there. But honestly, I don't look at the points as much, and it's just it's an amazing thing to do. But what you do in the previous months, what I did in November and December, I showed up every day. I talked to people every day. Gosh, guys, in December, I didn't even hit Success Club. I was at 4, which is terrible because I think it's worse than 0. But it's, I don't know. I mean, I didn't write down how many people I talked to necessarily, but I'm not kidding. I must have talked to at least 500 people. I am not kidding. And I was pushing for my diamond date, which was in December of December 31st. And I just had it in my mind. Like in October, I got a couple coaches, and I just thought, I'm just going to go all in. So, I'm not saying you need to talk to 500 people, but you talk to a lot of people. You need to have a lot of people going on. So with that, put in the work it takes. Don't expect miracles. For so long between March and October, March and October, I was just kind of not doing it. Like, 1 week would kind of be consistent and another week not. And it just doesn't work like that. You just have to be consistent. You have to put in the work it takes and just don't expect miracles. We don't expect miracles with our weight loss. We know it takes time, so don't expect it in your business. And I know, what was I going to say on this? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, and when you're drinking your Shakeology and you're working out and you're eating clean, you can't help but be super on fire about Beachbody coaching because you feel amazing and people can see that. So when you're not consistent with yourself, it's like people can see that. So you got to do the work. There's no need to reinvent the cycle. This is kind of a funny one to put right there. But, we have the models and we have the resources that all of our uplines are giving us. It works. When they say use the script, okay? When they say, here are some great things to say for objections, do them. And I was talking to a coach just recently, and she said, yeah, but I just feel like a robot. Like, I feel like it's just the same conversation. And if you feel that way, then just use it as a guide. But what I found out is that when I don't use it as, use the scripts as much, I kind of like word vomit on them. And it's all about me, like how the program helped for me. It's not about them. And you want to be asking lots of questions about them because that's what's most important. So take you out of the equation, okay? You Are a Badass is a personal development book that I heard is amazing. I haven't read it myself. And it's, so I really can't say much on it, but just believe that you are that badass. You are here to make a purpose. And you guys have what it takes to be here and do this. You have what it takes. So you just got to play it into action. You have to believe in yourself. And if you don't, you're just not going to get anywhere. I just feel like, the coaches I see that are maybe struggling a little bit more or, and I have other friends on other teams that are coaches. And I'm like, guys, get out of your own way. You're telling yourself that you can't do it and you can't do it because you're telling yourself that. So, and the next one is like, get over it. When you, as a coach, you're going to get critics. You're going to get these personal attacks and they suck. And but you also have to realize that, any job that I've ever had before, you have a coworker that doesn't really like you. You have a boss that's really, hard on you. You're going to have those people. So you just have to get a backbone. I had somebody just recently attacked me pretty good. And what is funny about it is that if it would have happened to me maybe at the beginning of the business when I didn't believe in myself and I wasn't very confident, it probably would have put me over the edge. But when she was kind of attacking me this time, I kind of was like, well, I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry you feel that way, okay? Because to me, it's like my critics are telling me you can't do this, you're fake, you're whatever it is. And it kind of motivates me because I'm like, watch me. I'm going to make money. Not that's about making money, but how you can relate to them. Or I'm going to, I'm going to kick ass at this and you just watch. Because years from now, I'm going to be at the top. So it motivates me to be better. So just take those critics and turn them around from a self insecurity, like it hurts you, to make it better. Don't overthink the no's, okay? You are planting hundreds of seeds every month, and you are going to get a ton of no's, especially in the beginning. I feel like it's especially in the beginning. When you kind of establish your business and people see you're really here for the real thing, it's not just like this 3-month adventure, right? They see that you're there, then, you know, you're still getting no's, but you're kind of establishing your business. But when you are first starting, you get a ton of no's. And just remember that you are planting those seeds, okay? Don't overthink it. I used to just be like, oh man, did I not say the right thing? Or did I say too much or too little? I don't know what I'm doing. Just take yourself out of the equation. It has nothing to do with you. People say no all the time, and people need time to kind of adjust and realize what kind of, what this is about and how it can benefit them. So when it comes to like Success Club points and kind of getting over your fears, don't be thinking about the Success Club points. Every single time I do this, every single time, I'm like at 3 or 4 Success Club points. I'm like, okay. I have 5 days and I need this many Success Club points. You know, it's good to have a benchmark for sure. It's good to go for it. But when you start the month, you just start strong. You start fresh and you start new. And you need to be thinking about how you're going to help others reach their goals, right? When you're selling challenge packs, you're helping others reach your goals. You're not really thinking about how many challenge packs you're going to sell. You're thinking about them. You're making new friends. You have to be expanding your network. That's part of the power of 3s. Invite. You have to start making friends, expanding your network. You're tracking, you're planting seeds, you're posting, multiple times a day, and you have to be consistent with yourself. You know, when I put all of my focus on this is what I'm doing, then it's just so much. I just don't think about the points, and then the points just come in on their own. I just don't even think about it. So do what you have to do to get what you want. It really changed when I defined my why. And I have a couple of different whys, actually. I have one big one, but I also have one like day to day that really keeps me going. And you have to define it. Until you define it, you're going to struggle, in my opinion. And so, it has to be stronger than any excuse and stronger than any attack you're ever going to get. And I just want to point out that I know we all have excuses, and we all have the biggest excuses to tell us why we can't do it that day, why we can't exercise, why we can't whatever it is, right? And it's I don't like, now I'm trying to explain my excuse. What I'm saying is like I have really, really bad internet. Like you guys, I post like a 2-minute video and it doesn't upload until like midnight. It's that bad. And for a long time, I let that be my excuse. Like, I just can't get my power hours in. I'm trying all day and I can't get it in. Every morning, I have to wake up at 4 in the morning because I figured out that is my time that I have like the best internet just randomly. So you have to figure out what your why is and go for it. What is it going to take for you to do what you have to do to get what you want, right? So, and then get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Posting on your personal page, inviting, you're doing your hey girls. Guys, I know because I hear it, and I hear it from my coaches too. It is uncomfortable. It's super uncomfortable. I'm from a small community, and everybody around us is a very small community. So when I'm doing my hey girls, it's something like, hey girl, how's it going? I'm not sure if we met because I know we have 10 friends in common, and it's awkward because most of them are like, yeah, I totally know your husband, or like, we live down the road from you. Like, I don't have any idea who these people are, right? But they know me, and so it's awkward. And we just start talking, and we just start laughing about it, And it's so funny because I just had somebody that was like, I was totally had that message out, and she was like, Brandy, we partied together like 3 years ago, and we were out all night together and stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, how embarrassing. I don't remember any of it. So, but just realize you're going to have these really random, crazy conversations, and you're going to have ones that maybe just totally fall apart on you. It's okay, but just get yourself out there and it will become more and more comfortable the more you do it. And that is why it's so important just to do it every day, and then it won't be such a big deal every single day. Feel passionate about what you're doing. So much of my, between my March and October, that wasn't the greatest. I would just run a challenge group because I had to run a challenge group. I had people, that I sold to, so I put them in a challenge group, whatever, let's get through it, Well, those challenge groups sucked. And if you're losing your passion in what you're doing, you need to figure out what you need to do differently. So, we can run so many different challenge groups outside, our 21-day challenge group or whatever it is. There's so many options. So go out there and find what you're passionate about and do that one. And then you're going to be relating to so many people. I almost feel like I had to apologize to some of the people I put into my first groups because they failed miserably. And now I want to be like, yeah, but come back because they're so much better. They're so much better. So and it's a process of learning, but just really put your time and your focus into being passionate about what you're doing. And then it's just going to ooze out and people are going to soak it up. Ask for help. So I think, almost every coach probably goes through this because you kind of hit a breaking point, like, I don't have what it takes, or this is too hard, or whatever it is. It kind of stops you in your tracks and you have to really think if this is what you want to do. And if you go through this, and maybe you go through it multiple times, but ask for help. I've asked people above me up on my upline. I've asked people below me, I'm really having a hard time with my hey girls. What do you do? Just ask for help and reach out to people. And then personal development. If you're having any issue with any of these, then start doing your personal development. Every single time I read or I watch a video or I get on a team call or whatever it is, I am super gung-ho about it again. I kind of maybe had a long day or something, but then I go on a team call and I'm like, woo, hey, let's go. I'm ready to go, And that's how you should feel with your personal development. So when you are, I recently had a personal development book that I thought was going to be amazing and it just wasn't doing anything. Then chuck it and find something that's going to work for you, because you need to have that fire and that underneath you all the time. So when you are sending out your hey girls, your invites, maybe it's on your personal page. It's awkward to be sending these things out, right? But remember that this is a gift. We were all given this gift to coach, and this gift has literally changed my life. Totally changed my life, you guys, in every aspect. I mean, I can list every aspect, and it would be. And you have to, and if you're not there yet, you will get there because it is a gift. And when I talk to people and they tell me no, I'm like, okay, and I might give them, depends on what the conversation and what invite, but maybe it's a couple of days later, I follow up with them, and then a couple of weeks and a couple of months, and I keep going back because I'm thinking to myself, you don't realize this is a gift and this will change your life. And the coaches that I have signed on now and that I talk to a lot, and I talk to my challengers, they're just I feel like a different person. So you really have to think about how much this is just a gift and you are giving this to somebody. So don't let it come. Don't let your awkward hey girls or your uncomfortableness get in the way. And then my last thing I just want to put out there is aim high. Don't be setting attainable goals. Don't be thinking, well, I'm going to set this goal because, I just want to make sure I hit my goal, and I don't know if I can do it for sure. No, just aim high and go for it. Setting yourself up for Success Club 5 and 10, that's a really good goal, but don't put a cap on your capabilities. Don't just get there and then just quit, because just keep going. And, I talked about this with my coaches a little bit, is that, when you set that up for yourself, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure because you're just putting a cap on what you can do. And you can be so much better. And Rhonda Layton talked to me at the beginning of the year, and she said, what are your goals for the end? Now, I I think Rhonda is amazing, and I don't even know her. I haven't met her. But she has set up this huge team. We're all in her team because she set up this huge team. So she's obviously way awesome, right? So she probably talks to everybody, whatever. But she asked me this goal, and I said, well, I was so nervous to tell her. And I said, well, I will really want to be 3-star diamond by the end of the year, which is a huge goal. Guys, I don't have very many working coaches underneath me. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to go for it. And hell or high water, I will get it because I told her and I said it for myself and I will get there. So, set these goals for yourself and just go after it. What we do in this business is not that hard for what we can, what you can attain. So those are my thoughts.
I loved it. Could you guys all feel like the passion from right where she is? Oh my gosh, I loved all of that. I do have some questions. 2 questions for you. Do you feel like because I know when you were struggling for a while, I was like, okay, Brandy, well, it's time for you to start sharing your story and start posting more on your personal page. Because for a long time, I think Brandy was doing a lot of inviting and not so much sharing. Do you feel like that was a huge game changer for you? And also, as a second part of that question, do you feel like a lot of times most of your work is on like a one-on-one, like you're spending a lot of your time working in Messenger essentially?
Okay, so yeah, definitely start turning your personal page into like a little sneak peek, and you will see that that's a huge game changer. So yeah, that definitely needs to be noted. The more I started like, how am I gonna? I want to take a picture of my kids, or I want to do something, and then I'm gonna try to relate it back to my why, or back to my goals, or back to coaching, right? So I'm hanging out with my kids and, I'm living a life by design because I have time to be with my kids at home because I'm making money from home or whatever it is. So yeah, I definitely try to do that. And you'll see that some posts you won't get like anything on, and you spend a little bit of time on it and you won't get anything. The thing is, you just got to keep going. And then when I do my invites and my Hey Girls and stuff like that, when I invite, luckily I kept some notes from last year. I wasn't very good at tracking, but I kept some, and I'm able to go back and invite those people. But track so that every time, there's no way I can even remember all the conversations I had to date. I had so many conversations that you just need to constantly build up, and then that way you can be inviting. So Sam, does that answer your second question, I guess?
Yeah, and my other question was going to be, that ended up being a 2-part one question. My other question was going to be asking you about tracking, like how you make sure that people don't fall off your follow-up list. But you kind of answered that as well.
Yeah, and a lot of time, like what I'm getting now, and I don't know if a lot of you are getting this at all, people will say, well, I kind of want to wait until tax season. So in February in my calendar, I have like everybody that told me I want to wait till tax season, and I'm going to follow up with them, and they're going to say yes because I followed up with them. And so many of these people are, when I talk to them again, even a couple weeks or a month or a couple months later, they're like, oh my gosh, you remembered me. Like they like that. They like to be followed up with. And, I was so nervous to follow up before, I would just not do it. But yes, follow up. And Bonnie Engel said that, she follows up even like 6 times sometimes. So I would follow up like 1 time and then kind of let it off. But no, just keep kind of following up with them and kind of keep watching them on their Facebook and watch for cues that are like they're falling off the wagon or whatever it is. And you can start those conversations.
I love that. Who else has questions? I'm sure you guys want to pick Brandy's brain, and we've got more time. So.
Can everybody hear me okay? Yeah, okay. First off, this was such perfect timing. Like, you don't even understand. This is so everything I've been feeling for the last month and a half. And my biggest thing, I posted a video, I don't know if you saw it in Team Fearless earlier this week, but just getting the courage to put myself out there. I'm super shy, so it's really hard for me. Like even my Facebook network is really, really small to people that I just know, because I also live in a really small community, and I also been divorced in this community. So it's just, you know what I mean? There's just certain people that I would rather not friend request. But I just want to say thank you. This was such perfect timing. And I'm wondering what you do for people. I'm finding so many of my friends aren't ready to actually commit to anything. Like I have quite a few friends that are like, oh, let's do this, or I want to work out with you. And then they cancel and they're just not serious about it. So I'm just wondering how you try to stay on top of them without smothering them.
Right. That's a good point. You know, honestly, a lot of that can just come from just turning your personal page into a sneak peek, and then seeing that you are consistent and that you are showing up, and that they're going to want to come back to that. That'd probably be my biggest thing. I don't know if Sam, you have something to add, but and then like I'll have a lot of people that'll say, like a lot of people at the beginning of the year said, well, I'm going to do the gym. I'm going to do the gym. And then on their Facebook page, they're like saying how they're falling off the gym. And so I'll just kind of go back and, in a couple of weeks. And if they don't say anything, I'd be like, well, I tried. And then maybe a couple months down the road, I'll ask again, more often than not, they'll come back around.
Okay. Thank you.
And I also thought that was really cool that a small town and that you're shy too, because I was really shy, super shy. Like anybody that knows me, I'm super shy. So, Sam would know, yeah. And so I was in high school and Sam was like a year or two younger than me. And I was so shy I couldn't even talk to her. So if you can imagine, this has made a huge difference for me. And it's just, it will for anyone that just puts herself out there, because it'll come.
Okay. Thank you.
Trust me, guys, I was not the cool person in high school. I love that point, Brandy, about people, falling off, especially with the gym. That just gave me a really good idea, and you guys can totally steal it, is do a gym quitters group or something in the next couple months, maybe next month or whatever, or something along those lines. Target people who the gym's not working out for them. And as far as people falling off the wagon, this happens with coaching, and this happens with challengers. Is you can't lead a horse to water and make them drink. They have to want it. And so Brandy's answer with that is perfect. You just continue to show up, you continue to show consistency. And I know for myself, a lot of my customers, they will continue to come back. They'll continue to get into a challenge group again. Sometimes they'll buy new programs. Sometimes they'll buy more Shakeology. I always let anybody who's ever bought anything from me to be in my groups at any point of time, even if they haven't bought anything from me in a year and a half. And yeah, that's all I had to say. But I'm sure there's more questions, I'm sure. You got to hit unmute.
I saw that. Okay. Can you hear me? Okay. So I have a few questions. First of all, when you say sneak peek for your fitness page, is that just kind of giving them a little bit of what your everyday life is, and then you just kind of keep it very minimal, and that they want it to the point where they would have to message you in your messenger to know more about more about the whole situation with you're doing each day? Does that make sense?
Basically, yeah, that makes sense. Basically, it's, you're just showing them what you're doing as a coach and how coaching has made such a big difference in your life. So you're talking about I got a paycheck today as a stay-at-home mom, and I was able to pay for all of our groceries, or, I spend more time with my kids, or just anything that coaching is and has done for you that you can relate to others. So that basically you're sending out this whole post to everybody about what coaching is like and how amazing it is and how they want to get on board, without individually asking them if they want to be on the getting into the coaching. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. It makes perfect sense. And then the other question was too, is when you have your conversations, because you said 1 month you spoke to 500 some people, when you're messaging people, or is it just when you say invite, do you like build relationships and then do you start talking about the shake, or just about Beachbody in general, or how do you go about passing that line? Because I know a lot of it's based off of like by your actions, showing up every day on your fitness page and, you know, sharing your everyday life. How do you start passing that like relationship level and start talking more about the fitness level?
Okay, so for me, the very first thing I do is I'm inviting to my network. So I'm just, if I'm 5 mutual friends with somebody or whatever, I'm adding them to my network. And that's all I do for that day, or, for that thing. And then I go back into my new friend request and I go back and I say, hey, thanks for adding me as a friend. I noticed that we have a lot of mutual friends. And then I say something like, I see you're a stay-at-home mom too. How old are your kids? And we start kind of talking. And honestly, our conversations probably do not last more than a few messages. And then I'll leave that, and then I'll come back, maybe like, it kind of depends, but probably like a week or so later. And then I'll say, hey, I'm running this challenge group and I just want to know if you're interested. And they'll tell me yes or no. And it's, and I basically, just set it up as a challenge group. Would you like to know more? Where it's all about clean eating and exercising, and I keep it pretty minimal. I can send that script to you if you want, but basically it's just the same script that I send to everybody. So it's just kind of a copy and a send. I'm not typing everything out. Right. And then, they'll get back to me and say yes or no thanks. And that's kind of just where it starts right there.
Okay. So you have that relationship, and then you pretty much, after having, your little conversation, then you do give it a little bit of time, and then you start talking about just saying you do have this group that you'd love for them to be part of, and then it's a yes or no, then it's a yes or a no, pretty much is what you're saying.
Yep.
Okay.
And then when they say yes, no more, then then I just go off from there. Yeah.
Okay. And then my last question, I'm sorry, for the challenge groups, do you, like, for example, if you have, like, my first challenge group is going to be February 1st, and if I'm trying to, like, get people to just try to sell packages and also to get them, involved for my next challenge group, would I add them to the one that, like, the one next week, or would I add them to the one that is coming up, like, the next month prior? Do you usually add new people into your challenge group while the challenge group is going on?
Particularly, I don't, because what happens, and I've done this before, is you put them in the middle, and everybody in the beginning ends at the same time, and then you have these people where they're like, oh crap, I'm not finished, so I don't. But I am also running 2 challenge groups a month, and my advice here is to go find somebody else, another coach or another couple of coaches that are going to start one in a couple of weeks, and do it with them. So it's not so overwhelming to do 2 challenge groups at once. And then that way you're constantly selling challenge packs. Because in the beginning, when I first started, I would only invite to one challenge group. So then when that challenge group started, I just stopped inviting. Now I just keep going, so it might have started that day, but then I just keep going to get into that next challenge group.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Great tips.
Brandy, that is such a good point, because I just realized that last year when things were rocking and rolling in my business all winter and all spring long, last year I was doing 2 challenge groups a month. And that's probably a big reason why.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. And I think there's a lot of coaches right now that, I'm sorry, my internet's so bad, but there is a lot of coaches right now that are willing to work with each other, because challenge groups are they're a lot of work. And so definitely go through and ask coaches that want to do it together.
Hey, Brandy, I have a quick question for you. How many people are you adding a day? Like, I know there's the power of 3s and you're supposed to add at least 3 people, but how many people are you adding right now?
Per day, I would say between 5 and 10 people in my network per day. And then what I've also been noticing is that in my, for whatever reason, my fitness page is not very popular, but I will get people that will be there liking something. So I always go back and add them because they're just new people. I don't even know who they are, but I'm adding them. But yeah, probably about 5 or 10.
I just have to say, I think it's really neat that the fact that you are willing to just, have the conversation. I was just thinking about this, that you have a conversation with someone and then you give it about a week and just have the courage just to ask yes or no. And if they say no, they unfriend you, move on with life. The good thing is you don't meet them, most of the people you talk to, they're complete strangers. I used to do Mary Kay and I used to do other things, and it's like always that uncomfortable feeling of being face to face with someone. So this is nice because it's behind the computer, and if they unfriend you, it doesn't hurt your feelings. You got to you got to know the person, and then you were able to get out of your comfort zone and just be like, hey, do you want to be part of this challenge group? If not, okay, see ya, kind of thing. So that's really cool. I just thought of that because I'm trying to add more people, and I just need to learn to say, you know what, want to be part of it, and continue to ask more people.
Yeah, absolutely. And and really truly remember that this is a gift. And that just really helps me. And that just really resonates with me right now, that it is a gift. And honestly, more often than not, you might get a no and they're not going to unfriend you. They're not going to be super insulted that you asked them. They're going to keep you. And then when they see it on your personal page that you're still coaching and you're doing amazing and all these people are commenting about how amazing your challenge groups are, they're going to come back to you. So it's just like you set up that invite, you set up that, that you planted that seed, and they're going to come back. And I mean, that's probably most of my business, the people that have said no to me in the beginning that are coming back now. So yeah, so definitely remember that. And it's funny because some people get an invite and are like, thank you for thinking of me. Like, that's so amazing. And then some people are like, what? No, do you think I'm fat? I mean, it's just funny how it comes off because people are totally different. You have no idea how they're gonna react.
Hey, Brandy, I had a question about your groups that you're running. Do you post them on Facebook and then have people contact you, or do you just automatically invite people?
I am inviting people personally to my challenge groups, but I'm also posting it on Facebook as well. So I also say, hey, I'm running a challenge group in next week. If you guys want to get on, I have 5 spots open or something. I mean, obviously you have unlimited spots, but when you act like it's a big deal and that it's closing up, then people want to get on. So, yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I hate to cut you guys short, but we have less than a minute now on the call. But if you guys have any questions, obviously, I'm sure Brandy would love to help out. And I think it would be great to ask them on the team page so that we can all benefit from it. But everything was amazing. Brandy, thank you so much. I think you lit a fire in all of us tonight, and we're going to go out and invite like crazy. And it's going to be a really great end to our month and a great beginning to February. So I almost said November. But thank you so much for hosting the call tonight.
Yeah, you bet. See you guys.
Have a great night, everybody. Bye.
Bye.